products. Dr. Lee has 16 years in the fuel catalyst business. He created his own products. And so he comes with a knowledge base that if we grab our pens and our paper and listen to him particularly on these Saturdays, we will have an advantage over anybody else in the company because he brings all of this knowledge to us and he teaches us. And I think today we're going to hear some more about the product and how we can as well use that to our advantage. So if you're not muted, please mute yourself. And Dr. Lee, if you're with us, I'd like to invite you to take over the call.
Thank you, RS. Good morning, everyone. Apologize for the delay on the get started. Today we had a hard time starting the call. It looks like my batteries ran out at the same time. I didn't pay attention. My cell phone and my computer. So that delayed a little bit of call. So I apologize for that. I'm gonna mute the lines. Okay, lines are muted right now. There's going to be different parts to the call today. We may go over the hour, so please, be patient. Just because we're starting a little bit later, but we're going to be doing a traditional network marketing training today, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the product on the front end. I'm looking for one more document right now, and we can get started with it as we go. All right. For those people that are here for the very first time, we want to welcome you to the call. We were just going to tell you that we have a wonderful program. We have a Gobi program. We have a Fuel Catalyst, a product that works, a product that saves money on the consumption of gasoline and diesel, biodiesel, ethanol. There's many applications to it. And today we're just going to do a quick overview on the product and then go straight into the network marketing traditional training. So let's get started with the first part. If you're here for the very first time, I'm sure that you're going to get some benefits from it. I'm going to be doing, RS doesn't know that, but I'm going to do this call with RS, this first part of the call. RS, can you see the screen?
I can, thank you.
Okay, on this first part of the call, we're gonna do a question and answer session. When you enter our program, we have told you many times that we have a Telegram channel. If you don't have Telegram, download it in your computer or on your cellular phone and access the information that we post online. One of the pieces of information that is very valuable to everyone, especially getting started on the program, is to get familiar with the frequently asked questions that people ask when they start the program. The questions are all the same questions. More of the questions have to do with how to use the product, what would it do, how often do I use it, how do I dose, will it do anything to my engine, and those kinds of questions. Will it buy a guarantee? Can it work in other types of field and things like that? It's important for you to have the answers. And if you don't have the answers because you haven't learned enough, because you haven't learned the answers, well, this is an opportunity for you to learn them. At the same time, well, you don't have to be an expert. All you do is need to know where to find the information so you can pass it to them. Because the idea is to duplicate. And today we're going to talk about duplication, and we're going to start a series of 5 modules of traditional network marketing training that has worked for me and countless of people worldwide to develop organizations that have produced results, organizations that have given commissions in the thousands of dollars a week or a day, or the systems that have helped people develop massive organizations in the millions of dollars. But one of the things that is important to do is to be a product of the product. We're going to learn that. And what does that mean? It means that you need to be a product user. You cannot recommend a product that you're not using. So let's get started with the question and answer. I'm going to be interacting with RS. RS, how are you doing today? RS is in Texas, right? What city are you in, RS?
I'm in Austin, Texas today, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful day here. And later on, I'm going to take my car out, and because I have my fuel pills, I'm going to go wandering through the country, the
Oh,
countryside.
awesome. Thank you so much.
So I love these questions, Dr. Lee. The first one is, what are actually boost tabs and why should I use them?
Well, um, everybody asks the same question because when you think about this, when we look at the gas pills for the very first time, many people think that everybody knows about them, and nothing can be farther from the truth. Perhaps people that have been in the industry of network marketing have heard more about this gas pill than other people because they're mainstream and they get approached with opportunities. But most of the average people of the 320 million driver's license in the US never had that opportunity. And you have that opportunity to be the first that introduced them to this wonderful technology. Boost Field Tabs is a field conditioner. Well, it's not like a conditioning shampoo, but it's a field catalyst, a catalyzer for internal combustion engines. And people say, well, what is an internal combustion engine? Well, internal combustion engine is a motor that works to produce a work, to do a job. And the job is moving pieces, moving parts, to move machines. In this case, your engine moves your axles and moves your tires so you can drive. Okay, but there's other applications like power generation and like, for example, in gas LP to cook water, to cook food and to heat water, etc. During the power stroke of the engine acts as a burn rate modifier. Wow, what's a power stroke? It's not like a stroke when somebody gets a heart attack or a stroke in the brain or something. No, during the power stroke, meaning that the engines have all the same principle. And in order to create the movement, in order to create energy, you have to burn the fuel. That's why you buy gasoline or diesel, because you want to burn it. Now, because you burn it inside the engine, that's what is called internal combustion engine, because the combustion happens inside your engine as opposed to outside, like, for example, burning gas LP at atmospheric pressure. When you burn the gas LP, it comes liquid propane. That's why they call it gas LP. Some people use natural gas because it comes directly on the pipeline to their homes. And you can't do much about treating that. But those that are fortunate to have a tank, they fill up that tank every 2-3 months because they use it for heating their home or for cooking or for heating water and things like that. In many parts of the world, most of the people in the planet use gas LP from tanks, and they have to refill them. And there are applications there that we can apply them, okay? And that's called external combustion because it happens at atmospheric pressure, okay? But our engines are working internally. That's why you call internal combustion engine. And what is a burn rate modifier? Well, because it changes the way it burns, see? Due to an electromechanical attraction that happens when you break down those molecules, the combustion process is accelerated. What's accelerated? Well, it means that it burns quicker, faster, in a shorter period of time, and it causing the hydrocarbon chains to burn more completely. Well, what is a hydrocarbon chain? Some people may ask. That's too complicated. Well, when you were in high school and maybe in college, you had a chemistry class and you have organic and non-organic chemistry. Organic meaning that it has carbon, okay? Our petroleum has hydrocarbons, meaning have hydrogens and carbon chains, okay? And we burn them to create energy. The more carbon chains, the longer the chain, the more energy it has or releases when you burn them, okay? Because it has more carbons and more hydrogens. So what is that? Well, the gases, which are in one end of the spectrum that you get from the petroleum, are methane, ethane, butane, and propane, meaning 1, 2, 3, or 4 carbon chains. Each carbon has 4 hydrogens. Okay, well, that's too complicated. What is not, it is simple, but at least I want you to understand what a hydrocarbon chain is. Once you start moving from gas into liquid, you end up having substances like gasoline, like kerosene. And the kerosene was very important in the old times because when they discovered the petroleum, the only thing they wanted is they wanted to use it for heating and for lighting, for creating, so putting in the lamps so they can have light before the electricity was invented and before people invented the internal combustion engines, the motors. There was no application for the petroleum. It was just a black, nasty liquid that when you boil it and you heat it, you end up with a kerosene product, which is very close to the gasoline in number of chains, but it's not quite gasoline. And one of the byproducts was gasoline. And they pour it and they throw it away in the rivers. Can you imagine? But somebody came up with the idea that you were able to burn it in the internal combustion engine, and it became a fuel. Then the whole thing changed because now we had electricity, we have motors, and there were applications. So the whole petroleum industry started at that point, and the refinery processes started to get more complex. Today, we're getting 6,000 byproducts coming out of the refineries. So how in the world are we gonna work without hydrocarbons? You tell me that. When I hear the politicians talking about that we're gonna get rid of the petroleum, I have news for you. Well, what are you gonna use in your underwear, your socks, your shoes, your computers, your calculators, your cellular phones, all the plastics in the kitchen? And the list goes on and on. Well, ladies, you're not gonna use lipstick anymore or cosmetics and all the plastics. Wow. Pharmaceuticals, paintings. How about colors? You don't want to have colors anymore? Well, that's kind of stupid. Well, yes, petroleum is everywhere. We use it every day. And it's so complex and so beautiful that it's like Legos. When you heat it, when you change it, when you do things to it, add other chemicals, you create compounds, and they're so beautiful. What about plastics bags? Well, we're not going to use any more plastic bags. We're not going to use any more plastics. What are we going to do? I don't know. Well, see, once you start going up the chain and it gets heavier and heavier in the refinery, you end up with gasoline with 7 and 8 chains. And that's where the name came of octane. Octane meaning 8. So the more chains of 8 carbons you have in the gasoline, the better gasoline it is. That's why you have 87 octane, 92 octane, but it wasn't that way all the way. Many years ago, when they invented it, they were happy if they were getting 20 and 30 and 40 octane. That's all it was available at that time. But the refined process and the cracking systems became better, and now we have incredible gasoline. So how in the world are we going to get more energy and more power out of the field? Some people think that we're crazy, that there's no way we can improve this. Well, those are the people that are ignorant about our technology, and mostly mechanics, that they don't know anything about thermodynamics, engineering, or science, or rocket science. And people say, well, this is not rocket science. Some people say, well, I'll tell you in Gobi, this is rocket science, because wow, all this technology came about because people were interested on going to the moon. They were interested in flying. They were interested in going around the earth and putting satellites in orbit. Do you know that it takes 25,000 miles per hour to break gravity and put a satellite in orbit? What? Yeah, I'm talking 7 miles per second. That's what it takes. Well, that's pretty fast, Mr. Lee. 7 miles in 1 second? Yes, 7 miles in 1 second. That's what it takes to put a satellite in orbit. Now, how do you think they put those satellites in orbit? Because they improve the way they burn the fuels, the hydrogen, and the different fuels that boost those rockets. And say, well, what's that have to do with our technology? We have to do everything with our technology, because if it wasn't for those rocket booster and solid rocket boosters and everything that they were developing in the laboratory, the scientists, one of them already passed away, they developed a liquid technology, a field catalyst, to improve the burn. Later on, they were able to crystallize the formula. And when they crystallize the formula, bingo, we end up with powders that can be compressed and make this wonderful pill that we have today in our product. 1 second, let me take a break, take a drink.
Gosh, Dr. Lee, that's so powerful, all the information that you just gave us, and it gives us pause to think about exactly what we have in our hands here with this little tiny packet that can put rocket ships up through the air. How exactly would we use these fuel tablets for our purpose?
Wrapping up what we had in the first question, because I haven't finished that one. I'm sorry that, I'm going a little long perhaps, but this is what it is. As a result, Boost fuel taps increase the power, reduces emissions, improves fuel economy. Well, that's incredible. In addition, it treats fuel will assist on removing carbon deposits and help maintain the engine and oil cleaner, extending the life of your engine. Boost fuel taps works in any vehicle with an internal combustion engine. Okay, let me see. There's somebody with the microphone. It was Mr. Mike. We're gonna give him a start in his head today, no problem. All right, treating fuel and assist on removing carbon deposits and help maintain the engine and oil cleaner, extending the life of the engine. Boost fuel taps works in any vehicle with an internal combustion engine, being automobiles, trucks, motorcycles, tractors, construction equipment, boats, power generators, etc. When you use the Boost fuel taps continuously, you will be contributing to reduce your carbon footprint. So going back to the fields, and then I'm going to the next question, RS, be patient because we're almost done. And this is the most important part of the question and answer, is that going up the chain, we end up with diesel. Diesel is heavier, it's got more hydrocarbons. And the reason I'm explaining this is because when you burn diesel, it's not as clean as gasoline or as clean as burning natural gas, because it produces a lot of smoke, a lot of carbon buildup. It's kind of nasty, but it's powerful, and that's why we use it for big construction equipment, for mining equipment. We use it for transportation and vessels and big boats and mini and tractor trailers, semi trucks. Those are the ones that brings our food, our goods and services to our home, to our stores. Very powerful. And they haven't been able to replace them. Later this year, they're coming up with powerful engines that use batteries and things like that. But the problem is that it's very hard to charge them, and the batteries are huge, and they need to source all those elements, and they produce a lot of burning hydrocarbons in order to create them. So it's kind of cumbersome. But the bottom line is that when you burn diesel, you have other problems. And that's why you have the diesel exhaust fluid that is reduced. So there's two things that happen in gasoline. In the gasoline, the change of octane savings, when you change from premium to regular, it's something very equivalent that you have in diesel when you savings in additional savings by reducing the diesel exhaust fuel. Okay, so we're gonna leave it at that, and let's get going with the next question. You say, how do you use them? Well, each tablet weighs approximately 1 gram and treats 16 gallons of fuel. If you happen to be outside of the United States, most likely you're gonna be in the metric system. And in the metric system, you have liters, so that's 60 liters. Now you can divide that pill. The first time we recommend using double dose and place the tablets in the fill tank prior to filling up. For smaller use applications like motorcycles or partial fill-ups, the boost fill tabs can be easily divided with a pill cutter in a half for 8 gallons or 1/4 for 4 gallons, okay? So it's important to you to understand that we have a form. We have a form that we presented last time. I don't know if you've seen it, but we have a form where you can dose and keep track of this mileage. And that's the tracking system. So go ahead and download it, print it out from our Telegram channel, and have a printout ready to go for your testimony. It's very important that you record those affidavits, and we can post them in our new channel that we're coming up with, so we can have records of thousands of people using our product. That's going to be very, very powerful.
Well, Dr. Lino, many of us are notating the differences in our mileage and the increase already, but I think it's very important to use that form and look for emails from your upline leaders, because they will send those forms out to you, or go to the Telegram channel to do that. Can you tell us how these fuel tabs will increase the power and the fuel mileage of our cars?
Yes, it improves the power. Boost fuel tabs product users are reporting significant improvement in power and fuel mileage. Actual mileage, or MPG, miles per gallon, may vary with the conditions. Remember, there's traffic, there's terrain, meaning mountains or plain areas. The weather could be wind, the driving habits, the tire inflation, the vehicle load, and maintenance. So keep in mind all those parameters during the regular calls. Will tell you what to do to improve your mileage.
Mike McCarthy gave us a great testimony about using his vintage car going up and down the hills and stuff like that. And he said that he noticed that he got much more power. His car wasn't downshifting as much on that. That was very, very important. I also noticed that here we had 45 days of over 105-degree temperatures. And when I took my car out on the higher days, I noticed that it didn't perform as well as it did on the cooler days. So now I understand why. Can you tell me, and this is kind of a silly question because those of us that are using the pills know this, are the fuel tablets cost effective?
Absolutely. The price of gasoline varies around the world. During the regular call, we show you a table with prices of gasoline in different countries. When it goes from from just a few cents, where pretty much is subsidized by the government, those are not good countries to do business in. For example, we're not going to go to Venezuela, where the gasoline is cheaper than water and everything else is given away. But there's places on the face of this earth where they're paying $18 per gallon, like in Alaska in remote areas. 18, you said? Yes, you hear that right. In most countries and regions, the savings in fuel exceeds the cost of the product, and that's what's important. For example, assuming an average of 15 to 20% improvement in gas mileage, the savings will be 260% to 340% at $3 per gallon. What does that mean, 260%? Meaning that you have 2.6 times your money back. For example, for $100, you will be getting $260 in savings to $349. You got it? You invest $100 in product, which is 7 pouches. And if you use it all at 50 to 20%, those are the numbers: $260 back, $349 back at $3 per gallon. So do the math. If you're paying $4 per gallon, 350 to 465%. At $5, 436 to 582. So if you're in California, you're paying over $6, you can do the math, you're saving over $600. No wonder why Smiley is so successful over there and people come over to buy the product. I want to go to Smiley very briefly. Smiley, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. I was trying to unmute. Sorry about that. All right.
Okay, partner. Well, you know, Smiley, this prices are incredible, and although the prices have come down slightly, you're still paying close to $6. Is that right?
Yes, we're still $6.58 a gallon. You know, out here in California, and down in Long Beach, it's even more.
Wonderful. So this is what people are willing to pay, the $30 retail prices. All right. Is that how much are you selling the formula for?
I absolutely am. And I don't know if you can see it, but I'm showing you a picture on the counter. The lady I just sold a pack to, she just came in here and wanted 2 more packs. I'm in my office in McDonald's, and she said she filled up her car 2 days ago, and now she has a couple other Uber Eats drivers who want to buy the product. So, hey, $30, that's like a great price out here, and people are still saving well over $100 in savings on the product.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. For those people that are right there in California or in other places paying at least $5 per gallon, it's like changing $5 bills for $20 bills. If you're at $4 per gallon, if you're at $5, it will be changing $20 bills for $100 bills. That's a good deal. You know, last time I used a great cream for my face, I didn't get paid when I used it. And I use great antioxidants and products for weight loss and products for energy or for sleeping better. I never get any savings and put money in my pocket unless I sell it or enroll people. So the big difference here, folks, is that you don't have to enroll anybody. Just pop the pill in the tank and you get money in your pocket. How sweet is that? That means 100% of our downline put money in their pocket. In some companies, they're saying, well, we have a new startup. Come over here, place yourself. We're going to put people underneath you. You're going to make a check. And with just 30 people, you're going to get free product. I say, are you kidding me? 30 people? How about 0? Isn't that incredible, RS?
I've never been in a company in my 30 years where I could spend a couple of bucks a month and put thousands of dollars at the end of the year in my pocket because of the savings that I have. You know, Dr. Lee, I have a cookie jar. It's my grandma's cookie jar. And I fill my gas tank in half a tank. And I was getting 112 miles to a half a tank. And now I'm consistently getting anywhere between 211 and 230, 235. And like Smiley said for a while, he was actually filling up at a quarter of a tank. Every time I hit 112 gallons, I put 30 or 40 or $50 in my grandma's cookie jar instead of putting it in my gas tank.
Wow.
So I have about $230 now, even though gas went down a couple of cents here in Austin, Texas. At one point, I was paying $5 a gallon. I still have in 6 or 7 weeks over $230 in my grandma's cookie jar. So I can see visually where at the end of the year, I'm going to save $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, even $7,000 instead of putting it in my car. It's going in grandma's cookie jar.
Awesome.
And on top of that, one of my favorite things is the next question, Dr. Lee, talking about tailpipe emissions and reducing pollution. And you touched on that when we talked about number one, but this is very specific statement, and I'd like you to please share your information on number 5.
I just want to make a quick comment on the chat. Please don't exchange phone numbers on the chat line. Go through your proper app lines to get information. Okay, I respect of the organization here. Thank you so much. Okay, how do you boost the fuel taps to reduce the tailpipe emissions? As more of the fuel hydrocarbon chains are burned during the power stroke of the combustion cycle, less emissions will exit the tailpipe of the exhaust pipe. Boost fuel taps can reduce carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, volatile hydrocarbons, and sulfurs. So this is good for our health because those are oxidation molecules. No wonder. Why do we take so many antioxidants and we're still sick? Well, because we're breathing them. And sometimes we see that the air, it looks clean. Well, don't be fooled. Many of these gases have no odor and no color, and we're still breathing them, and they're taking our life away. We're having problems with respiratory systems. We're having problems with different types of cancers and things like that. So now wonder why it's so important to reduce emissions. I'm telling you, 5 million just children are dying every day because of pollution. Forget about the pandemic and things. We have a pandemic right now with just the pollution. So why not use these gas spills and clean the air that we breathe? Wouldn't that be a great mission? Why not everybody's doing it? Because we don't want to learn? Because we want to close our eyes? Or because we're stupid? I don't know, but many of them qualify. So let's go to number 6.
Okay, it reminds me of California recently. The governor said that I think by the year, in 5 years or 10 years, he wants to eliminate all the combustion cars. But in order to do that, they're going to have freeways filled with electric cars that don't work because they don't realize that the electricity is created from hydrocarbons. Dr. Lee, what's the difference between our fuel tabs and other fuel additives that are available?
Very great question. Because when you go to Pep Boys and you go to AutoZone, you're going to find a lot of formulas out there. And by the way, don't expect to have a label on our product saying, what are the ingredients? The people should be very smart because they come from the wellness industry. They expect that they're going to have so many grams of calcium or carbons, or what do you call it? When you put in the energy, you put the carbs, right? How many carbs do you have on blah, blah, blah. No, folks, the petroleum industry is different. We don't need to put the formula or how many ingredients do we have. And the reason we don't have any labels, and you can go to Pep Boys and AutoZone and look at the labels, you're not going to find any ingredients there because they all have the same ingredients. So what is in the product, they say in the Boost tab? And all you have to tell them is look at them in the eye and say the same ingredients that you have in your gasoline, and shut up. And believe me, they are not going to come back with anything. They're going to go, because they don't even know what's in your gasoline. You know, that's how ignorant most people are about the petroleum industry. We don't care. We just go there, pump the gasoline, fill up, and drive. Just do you care about what's in your cellular phone when you went to AT&T and T-Mobile and got your latest iPhone or your latest Samsung telephone, your smartphone? You don't care what's in that box. And before you used to be able to open it. Now you can't even open that sucker. What's in those circuits, Joe? Well, can you show me the differential equations and what's in those microchips? Is that what you're going to tell the salesman at T-Mobile or AT&T or Verizon Wireless? The salesman is going to say next in line. Why? Because he's not a scientist, neither you. Do you really care how the picture of your grandma or what you were eating last night on your selfie you put there on that photograph and how it went all the way up to the satellite and came back to the other phone? We have no idea. We just want to know what button to push. The same thing here with a boost fill tab. All we need to know is that we need to grab one pill and pop it in every time we fill up. Well, how easy is that? Well, what's going on in the engine? I want to know what the ingredients are. The typical fill additive is often a detergent. What's a detergent? Like a soap, okay? And should be applied sporadically. Yeah, there's many detergents in the field, but they're harsh and damage seals and things like that in your engine in order to remove carbon deposits. While our boost fill tabs are for continuous use. In addition to acting as a combustion catalyst in all internal combustion engines using hydrocarbon fuels, it also helps to burn off carbon deposits and turning them into combustion energy. No wonder why, when we get started, what we ask them to do is double dose, because we want to make sure that we clean that engine as quickly as possible. So at the beginning, you may have a big spike and get more savings than you're going to do later on. That happens sometimes. You say, well, I got so much savings and now it's not working, getting less. No, folks, it was burning what's in there in the engine, and you get a little more energy out of it. And then it comes down a little bit. That's fine too. If it gave you 30% the first time and next time it gives you 20, that doesn't mean it's not working anymore. Our formula is the most advanced nanotechnology available. And it's very important to understand that this is different. You're not going to find any of these formulas in Pep Boys and AutoZone.
Well, what you just said is really important, Dr. Lee, because what that really says is this product is really good for the physical engine itself, that it helps clean up the engine, and then our engines will last longer and all the moving parts will last longer.
Yeah, it would be equivalent to if you're selling natural products to do a colon cleanse. That's a most to do in the wellness arena.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You touched on this before, and it really interests me, and I know a lot of other people on the call too. We can use boost fuel tabs with ethanol or diesel or even gas LP, yeah?
Yes, there's many applications. It works in all the hydrocarbons. And that's very important because it works in gases and liquids. Okay, boost fuel tabs do not modify the fuel properties. And that's the most important part. It just breaks down the molecules in a way that they be burned easier and creates the environment so they can burn quicker and at a lower temperature. Regardless of the type of fuel used, boost fuel tabs creates a special environment in the combustion chamber during the power stroke, accelerating the burn rate of the hydrocarbon change of gasoline, diesel, or any other fuel. Boost fuel tabs are formulated to be used with all types of fuel and diesel grades, including all ethanol blends, meaning flex fuel, E85, they call them, two-cycle mixed fuels, like in some motorcycles and some old engines, you mix the oil with the gasoline or the diesel, it works there too. And blends of diesel. Remember, during the year, depending on the temperatures, we modify the formulas, meaning the refineries, the summer blend, the winter blend, and the bio, that's on diesel. Why? Because in some places, the temperatures go below zero, so way down that they need to modify the formulas a little bit, okay? And this is where our product shines, because it will start your engine at a very cold temperatures, very high temperatures. It really improves the way it burns.
And I saw that, Dr. Lee. Like I said before, we had 45 days of weather that was over 105 degrees, as high as 115 degrees here. And I noticed that my car was performed well. Tell us, if you would please, does this product, or can it void a warranty of our new car?
That's a very good question. And that's one of the most concerns that people have when they use our product, because maybe they just got a new car out of the dealership. They say, well, I just bought a new car. I'm not gonna put it in my new car. I'm gonna put it in my old junky car to test the product. Well, that's a big mistake. I mean, you can use it in any car, whether it's coming out of the dealership with 0 miles, or you have a car that has 300,000 miles. Okay, the product works on the field, not on the brand or the engine and the model. You understand what I'm saying? When you go
Yes.
to the gas station, you're gonna pump the same gasoline for the Bentley that you put in for the Phantom Rolls Royce. Is the same fuel. It doesn't say, well, this gasoline is for BMW's year 2021. Can you imagine? It would be so complicated. The other day I was making a line at Costco gasoline, and there were about 500 cars online trying to get a cheaper fuel. It should be that way on Gobi. The people make a line to get this fuel. What's going on with people? Why are they so close-minded? Well, because we need to educate the consumers, and this is what the Q&A does. If you're not using the Q&A to educate your downline, your customers, your brand partners, you are making them the service, and that's why they're not duplicating, because they're ignorant. And the minute they talk to their mother, the aunt, the uncle, the son, the mechanic, they're gonna discourage them. And because they don't know anything when they came in, they leave just as well ignorant. It's very, very important that we educate them. If an additive does not compromise the specification of the field, it cannot void the warranty of the car. When the gas bill is introduced to the field at a rate of 1 gram per 15 to 20 gallons, imagine that's a very minute amount on 20 gallons. And a chemical analysis is performed. The variation in the specifications is almost imperceptible and stays within the original specifications. See, folks, it's very important. The refineries make gasoline to the specs of the manufacturers of the cars. The manufacturers of the car made your engine, whether it's a Volvo or an Audi or Mercedes or BMW or Tesla. No, Tesla, is that right? Yeah, I got you there. I was going to see if you're still awake. No, a Ford, a Chevy, they are all made in the same idea, to work with certain fuel, 87, 92 octane. Oh, in this car, you just use the best of the best high performance car. You only need to use premium gasoline. Well, it was designed for that. That's the optimum, okay? And that's how they designed these fuels. But those specifications have a range of operation. And when you introduce the different additives, for example, Chevron introduces Tektron, if you're a Chevron user. Well, when they introduce the Tektron formula, is that going to void the guarantee of the car? No, because they don't change the specification to the point that the car is not going to work well. When we introduce the Boost fuel taps, we're not changing those specifications to that level. Does not change the specification of the fuel, the gasoline, the diesel, the biodiesel, the ethanol, the bunker oil, etc. The fuel specifications required by the manufacturer of an internal combustion engine remains within the design range. Therefore, if the dealer affirms that the fuel catalyzer, the gas bill, might compromise the specifications to the point it could cause damage to the engine or other components, then the manufacturer must prove it to void a guarantee. That's law. Oil and fuel additives do not automatically void warranties. Recently, the sequence test for gasoline engine warranty cost more than $500,000, $500,000. And for diesel engine, it's more than $1.5 million. Thus, if a manufacturer is going to claim that an additive will void the guarantee of the new vehicle, they must run the series of sequence tests to prove it. For a manufacturer to make a blanket statement that the use of an additive automatically voids the car's warranty is strictly false.
Well, wow. And I believe that there's a federal law that covers the warranties for all fuel additives as well. Dr. Lee, how often should we be using these fuel tablets?
Well, the boost fuel tabs should be utilized every time you fill up the tank of your vehicle or every time you add new untreated fuel. So it's for continuous use. As long as you're driving and you're using gasoline or you're using diesel, you can use this. You have to use continuously.
Okay. So if I use premium fuel, can I use these tablets with premium fuel?
If you are using premium fuel, you can switch to regular with no reduction or minimum change in performance. However,
Wow.
some people prefer following the manufacturer recommended use of premium fuel for high performance vehicles. If you're more interested in performance, continue using premium fuel along with boost fuel tabs. However, if you're more interested in fuel economy, try regular and measure the difference in MPG and then decide which fuel works best for you. As far as I'm concerned, I switched 15 years ago, 16 now, and some people have done it. I mean, we hear the testimonials on the call and they're very happy with the change.
Well, you mentioned that actually this pill is the great equalizer between different octanes, 87 to 95. And we heard, as you said, we heard from testimonies that people are experiencing terrific boost in energy and power, including myself, and I'm driving a 22-year-old Avalon. Speaking of which, it's not quite an antique yet, but will these fuel tablets work in antique cars, classic cars, or cars with carburetor?
Well, many people are car collectors and they love those 50 Chevys or those Ford old cars, and they work on them. They've even put Corvette engines on them. I mean, they're beautiful. Yes, boost fuel tabs will improve the performance of all their cars as well, meaning the ones that use carburetors. Absolutely.
Okay. Will this in any way cause any damage to my car's fuel system or catalytic converter?
No, boost fuel tabs will not damage the fuel systems of catalytic converter. Boost fuel tabs dissolve completely in a matter of minutes. There are no residues or deposits. And for the contrary, this formula may extend the life of the catalytic converter as it will be recycling cleaner exhaust fumes.
That's amazing. So from what I'm hearing then, I would assume that these fuel boost tabs will not harm my engine seals either.
No, boost fuel tabs do not contain anything that will be harmful to the engine, the gaskets, or the seals. Boost fuel tabs technology is EPA registered. I say registered, not approved or certified. Okay, very important. Meaning we have to submit, or the manufacturer have to submit all kinds of reports on the product, all kinds of scientific reports, safety data sheets, and all those things in order to get registered with the EPA. The EPA is aware of the sale of the Gobi tabs. As a matter of fact, our CEO received a phone call shortly after we got started with this at the very beginning, okay? And they ask him, are you manufacturing this or you're buying it from another manufacturer? And they say, no, I'm buying it from an existing manufacturer that is so many years old. He said, who is this? And it's such and such and such. They say, okay, then you're fine. Go ahead and keep marketing your product where your activities. However, if you decide to manufacture, meaning print those or make those tablets yourself, then you need an EPA registration. However, our owners decided that it was important for the sake of it to have an EPA registration on the Gobi name, and it's done. However, this government agencies are very slow to update their websites. They're gonna let us know when the number is published in the EPA registration. I know I have one of them over there, and I know how it is, and it's still not popping up, but it will be there shortly. The nanotechnology of the boost fuel tabs is scientifically designed and engineered to eliminate any potential long-term side effects to internal combustion engines.
That'll be wonderful for everybody who's trying to, sharing this product with other people. I believe we'll be the only marketing company that will have an EPA registration. So keep tuned, ladies and gentlemen, about that. What about the power when we're climbing hills? We touched on that briefly with Mike's antique car and vintage car and stuff like that. Could you explain that?
Yes, it will boost the power climbing hills. Boost fuel tabs will increase the vehicle's low end torque, which will provide more power for climbing hills and improve performance when the vehicle is used for towing. In addition, a reduction in gear downshifting may occur during hill and mountain climbing. Yes.
Thank you.
Especially in tractor trailers and semi trucks, this is a very important answer to those that are marketing to semi trucks. They will see a few things happening in their engines. Their dashboard is more specific than their automobiles, for example, in the temperatures. Okay. The temperatures in the tractor trailer are in degrees as opposed to high and low. And they can see a reduction in temperature when they're climbing hills, and reduction in downshifting because they have more power.
You know, Brian Ledford tells me he's marketing to guys who are drag racing. He owns a drag raceway, and these guys tow their racing cars. And he said they're having amazing results. They're, I don't know how many pounds a car weighs, probably tens of, thousands of pounds, but they're getting extremely great results using the tablet, and they're saving fuel. Can you tell us briefly how the tablets are beneficial for our engines?
Oh, the extreme temperatures, we already talked about it, all right, that you can start in easier cold and hot temperatures. And as far as how it's beneficial to the engine, Boost Fuel Tabs advanced catalyst technology is exceptionally good for your engine. This technology prevents hard carbon deposit formation and can also remove hard carbon deposits already present in the combustion chamber. We talked about it earlier. Hard carbon deposits reduce the efficiency and the performance of the engine, and over time causes excessive engine wear and valve recession, meaning the valves do not sit perfectly in the engine. That's why you start getting vibration, you start getting noise, you start getting funny sounds in the engine, and you start losing power, resulting in loss of compression and loss of power. When you use Boost Fuel Tabs continuously, the oil stays cleaner and maintains its viscosity and lubricity longer. In summary, a cleaner engine performs better and will last longer. And believe me, longer is really long. I've seen engines doubling their life. Instead of maybe 150, 200,000 miles, they go 400,000 miles, and that's not uncommon. You probably get sick and tired of that car, and you want to get rid of it, even if it's falling apart, the doors, the suspension, and everything else, but your engine keeps going to the point that you want to just get rid of that car because otherwise it will keep running forever. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Dr. Lee, for anybody who's buying a new car or has a brand new car, I wouldn't hesitate to use the product in the new car because, as you said, it will extend the engine, the life of the engine and all the mechanical parts right from the beginning. So that car becomes more valuable to them when they're using the Boost Fuel Tabs. We already talked about the EPA. Can you tell us, there's some scuttlebutt all over the place about mothball ingredients, which is naphthalene. Is there any of that junk in this Boost Fuel Tabs at all?
Just going to give you an example on this last one. I'm sorry for a second. I was just thinking about it. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to drive my wife's car. I haven't driven it in a long time. And now it's getting up to, I don't know, 6.5 years now. It was brand new out of the dealership when I bought it. It was a Kia Optima, 2.4 liter engine, wonderful engine. And yesterday I'd driven it, of course, using the gas bill and regular. And my golly, That thing screams and runs like new. It has 110,000 miles or something like that, going 110, 120,000, and it drives like a racing car. It's unbelievable. And it's still
Wow.
really, really powerful because we started using the gas bill from mile one, and I
Right.
love it. Our Boost Fuel Tabs EPA and approved. Oh, well, Boost Fuel Tabs technology is EPA registered. And that's learn that wording. Please don't say EPA approved, EPA certified, and things like that. Use the word technology. Our technology is EPA registered. Okay. The EPA does not officially approve, endorse, or recommend the use of any specific product, just like the FDA. Okay. They wash their hands, but that doesn't mean that they're stupid or they don't know what we're doing. They know exactly what we're doing, believe me, because they know about this technology for 30 some years, okay? However, registration with the Environmental Protection Agency is required to sell a product legally in the United States.
Okay. By the way, when you started talking about your wife's car and driving it with your experience, your face started glowing.
Well, I mean, guys, I was surprised. I accelerated that car and feels so good. That was like a racing car. I said, my gosh. After so
And
many years, several years, it's
what,
still running like new or better.
what kind of a car is it, Dr. Lee?
Oh, that was a Kia Optima, 2.4
Wow.
liter. It runs better than a BMW 3 Series or a Mercedes C-Class. Much better. I'm telling you, suspension and everything is much better. Yes.
Wow, that's terrific. Well, keep up the good work. And again, I'm going to ask you about this naphthalene, which is the active ingredient in mothballs. I'd like you to talk about that so everybody is comfortable in using this product.
Years ago, I would say maybe, I don't know, 15, 17 years ago, maybe, 15 years ago or so, there were two companies started in the United States with gas bills. One out of Texas, one out of Florida. The one out of Texas got shut down by the attorneys general of Texas. They were selling product with naphthalene. It was growing like crazy. It was a binary. And the other one grew like crazy, but that sustained and then never got shut down. The one out of Texas, the name was BioPerformance with the naphthalene.
Right.
The one out of Florida was called FFI, Fuel Freedom International, and grew to over 1 million distributors in 3 years. So, no. Naphthalene, no, we don't have naphthalene in our fuel tabs. Naphthalene is a primary ingredient in mothballs. If you remember when you were a kid, maybe you're still using, your grandma used to put these little balls that smell funny in your clothing because you didn't want to have moths, certain manufacturers in the past have distributed products with naphthalene. In the 1950s, various university laboratories discovered that the adding of the naphthalene to a fuel could boost octane and performance in racing cars. And that's why when you see the movies, a lot of those movies where they just pull something there and all of a sudden you have like fire coming out of the car and extra boost, is right? You've seen those happening all the time. Well, this is what it is. And sometimes it's used on dragsters and for the quarter of a mile. The problem is that this is a very unsafe practice for the average automobile, and prolonged use could result in major damage onto any combustion engine. So Boost fuel tabs had no naphthalene, okay? And the reason you see that, or the way you prove this, is by using a torch, placing your tablet on a metal surface that you want to dispose that is not important to you, and then burn it. And what happens is this: when you burn it, okay, it will catch on fire if it has naphthalene, and it will start giving you like little sparks, like you have in those, how do you call this these things that you burn and it's sparkling, that the kids use, those lights.
Sparklers.
Exactly. It just starts sparkling, and at the same time, you see a terrible black smoke coming out of it, and it starts turning black, and it sticks to your metal. It's horrible. When you burn our pill, it just melts. It doesn't catch on big fire, but just melts down. That's the difference. And by the way, I think Basil is here. Basil, are you here? Because you asked me the other day about a formula, and it's not the one I was thinking. And very interesting, I was looking at that pouch of that product that you showed me. I'm not going to talk about the brand right now here for obvious reasons, but he was very interested that in the label says that it was flammable. What do you mean flammable? Give me a break, you know, no good. All right. Anyway, let's
Okay.
we'll wrap up this part here. And we're exactly 1 hour. I do have another training, and we have two options. We can do it today, or we can do it next week. It's up to you. I spent all night until 6 a.m. Putting that training together, because I have a series of trainings I've developed for my own company before on gas bills, but they were in Spanish. And it's a wonderful series on network marketing. And this is the series number 1. And believe me, they're powerful trainings. They're simple, but it works. That's what works in the industry. So I can give you a quick pick, and you guys tell me with a bunch of 1s if you want me to do it today, and point a bunch of 2s if you want it for next week. How's that? Is that fair enough for everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, that's fair, but Dr. Lee, quick question.
Yes.
Hey, I had one of my reps in the chat ask, does the fuel tab help clean the injectors in the car?
Absolutely. Anything that it touches along the way, it gets cleansed. And one of them is the injector. The injector is exposed to in the combustion chamber every time there's a burn. So when you have the power stroke, meaning when you're burning the fuel in the combustion chamber, the carbon deposits get stuck to all metal surfaces by electromechanical attraction. You start getting what they call, I forgot, carboxyls or something like that. And they start forming just like it forms in your pan in the kitchen. So it's very simple. In the kitchen, you have a new pot, is that right? After you burn 5,000 eggs with, with bacon, normally those pans look terrible, don't they? They start getting more and more carbon deposits, is that right? And it gets terrible. You know what it is in the kitchen. Well, imagine your engine when you have thousands of those explosions every minute, because those are called RPMs, revolutions per minute, is that right? It has 1, 2, or 3. That's thousands times 1,000. Look at your dashboard, okay? So what happens is the injector is not exempt from those deposits. The injectors start getting carbon deposits, and it affects the way the injector works. Our fuel will keep those injectors cleaner and last longer because you have a cleaner burn, a more complete burn. And at the same time, sometimes it chips off existing carbon deposits out of the metal surfaces and burn them. Because remember, you need at least 600 degrees to burn it in the combustion chamber, but near the surfaces, like in the walls or near the injectors, you only have about 200 degrees. So there's no way you can burn all the fuel around them. It's not good. But once you introduce our formula, you start burning at least double the percentage. Instead of burning 40%, you may be burning 80% of the fuel near the surfaces. And that makes a huge, huge difference. Some people say I want it next week, and that's fine. Let me, hopefully that answers your question, Smiley.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. They text me and said, great answer. Thank you.
Is this person on the call?
Yes, she's on the call.
Okay.
Georgia could check in.
This is just a pick here. Okay, this is the series, folks. Can you see the screen, RS?
Yes.
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 Okay, this is the number one of the series of 6, and it's called Go Big Go Victorious, Race to Success, Intercontinental Power Team Official Material, Dr. Lee Training System. So I'm just gonna scroll through it, and this is just a infomercial for next week. How's that? Okay, so
Great.
8 success flags. How to develop successful organization, first level training, fast start. Okay, and I'm just gonna go through it really fast like this to get an idea what we're gonna see next week. The steps are going to be: define your motor, choose your circuit and follow it, recharge your field, enter the racetrack, initiate the race. And this is what I have for my own company on field, okay, in training. Finish the race, make a stop, verify your progress and the coaching, be a leader for your team, teach 8 steps to success. Duplication equals success. Be teachable, learn to teach others to teach, and the verification. Review your back office and maintain yourself on the track, most common errors, and finally, maintain yourself on the track. Otherwise, you may have an accident. Thank you. Boom, boom. All right.
This is awesome, Doctor. We
I have a series of 6, and hopefully you like it. And it's with the team of automobiles and car racing.
Are you going to put that in the Telegram?
Absolutely. Every time we finish one, it's going to go there, and we're going to record a video of it. And that's going to be very, very powerful. As a matter of fact, you know that other company we talked about years ago where you were involved before, and I started, training on those. But then I left that business that Smiley, what is it, EF Tap or something like that.
Yes.
I was gonna do it for them, but then I didn't. So I used
Right.
company. This is something I started years ago before I opened my own business. So anyway, it's powerful training. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. How about if we give another 2-3 minutes or 5 minutes for questions and answers, and then we'll wrap it up. Anybody has specific questions about our program, our product, our compensation, our business model?
Yes, Dr. Lee, you mentioned 2 companies. I didn't get the second one. Using the same product, a similar product?
From Florida, I believe.
Oh, at that time?
Yes.
FI, Frank, Italy. FFI.
You broke up, Doctor.
FFI, Frank, Italy. Can you hear me, RS? Field Freedom International. Field Freedom International was started with Wendy and Randy out of Florida. They're the founders of Jeunesse International today. They transitioned into Jeunesse. They brought huge organization. I've joined with the Masters distributors at that time was Randy Thompson. Some of you guys met him here online some months ago, and Errol Shah. And yeah, it was a huge success globally. However, the product wasn't as good. It was giving you 7 to 14% average. It was a little hard. It didn't dissolve as good as what we have today. So science has advanced. This is much better, but much, much better than those years. And yeah, there's several companies marketing field tabs today, and that doesn't bother me. I mean, right now there's thousands of them selling natural products, and they're still millionaires. But when we have 3 or 4 or 5 companies selling a gas bill, that shouldn't bother you, because there's more than we can chew out there. 320 million driver's license. You can imagine we haven't touched the surface. So just focus, put your blinders, and go, and make a choice. If Gobi is for you, go for it. If you like that other pill better, well, be my guest. I don't mind. But I think if I choose this one, because this is the best vehicle, the best payout, the best leadership, the best technology, because I've been in this 15 years, and this is the winner. Believe me, this is the winner. Okay, so it's up to you what you want to do with this technology. Phil, give us your feedback. Let's go to Florida with Phil, and let's go then after to Mr. Steve Hall.
I agree with everything you said, and I continuously thank you for the input that you put in here. You stated this is the best company, the best fuel tab, and it's also the best leadership and training. And as you know, we were with you in some of those other companies, especially the big one that hit $1 billion. And we all did well. We were there many, many years, 17, 18 years. And we'll be here this long in this one as well, because the leadership is everything. And these are so important for us to get our people on them. As RS keeps stating, these are just invaluable. This is what's going to make a company. The tab is already there. And does it work? Yes, we've proven that. But these trainings and the knowledge that you put out here, if you can't get confident with where we are with that, you need to go to the other company. You're right.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're very committed to the program. In my upline, I only have one person. My sponsor is the master distributor of this company, Gobi. All right. So I only have one upline to go to, and that's Damar Zimmerman. And Damar is committed to the program. He's a very successful entrepreneur. And then the founders, which are president of the company, Mr. Lance Conrad, and that's the CEO, and the president is Mr. Burke Green. They're all of them. They're in Puerto Vallarta right now. So very successful entrepreneurs. We have also Angel Ramirez that's opening warehouses and opening countries worldwide. That's his specialty. And we have great people, great team of successful entrepreneurs that understand the field, understand what we do outside when we are networking this program. And that's very important to us, that we have founders that understand us, what we need and do every day in the field.
And Dr. Lee, you're very humble, but I noticed a list of all the people who achieved and got invitations to the Puerto Vallarta trip, and Intercontinental Power Team was amongst them. So congratulations to you. As I keep on saying, the knowledge that you impart to us and the time that you spend with us and your experience in growing teams worldwide is invaluable to this team. So hats off to you and congratulations to you from the team.
Well, thank you so much, RS, and your participation today was outstanding. Thank you so much. You were a great co-host, and we really value and appreciate you. I want you to put a 10 on the screen here on the chat line if you appreciate what RS does every time on these calls, and her participation today. Acknowledge her, please, with a 10. So there you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Lee. I appreciate your kindness, and everybody else here. You know, we're a family, and we keep on talking about that. It's not just the people on my team or Dr. V's team or Phil's team or Steve's team or Basil's team or Smiley's team. We all work together in unison, and we are a family. I'm tearing up. Thank you very much. On top of all of this, We have an end of the week on Monday, Dr. Lee, again. And I'd like everybody to take notice of the times and excuse me, and the Telegram and the YouTube channels I also posted on the chat. And again, thank you very much for the
Thank
recognition.
you.
I
Thank you.
appreciate
Anybody wants to make a comment or a question before we wrap up?
Awesome training, Dr. Lees. Mike in Colorado.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Mike.
you very much and look forward to what you previewed there. That looks like a real track to run on, which all of us need, to remember those things. Thank you.
Absolutely. We've been in the industry for a number of years, and sometimes we need to remind us of the basics and go back to the basics to make it work. And I think we all need this. And, especially myself, when I started looking at the training and putting it together last night, I realized that need to go back to the basics. And sometimes we need to remind ourselves of those basic steps so we can create duplication. Sometimes we wonder, why are we not duplicating? Well, because we deviate from what our teachers taught us in this industry. The industry has not changed. We have more and more technology, more tools, but the belly to belly and the people to people business has not changed. We build organizations with people and relationships, and those are very, very important. And I truly believe that the industry is still wonderful and it's still the same as it was before. And we need to remind us of those things, Mike.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And very important, that
We lost your sound.
Mac, you muted.
yeah.
Okay, now again. Can you
Yeah.
talk
You
to us
got me?
again?
Yeah. Yeah. In other words, you forget little basic things like, oh my gosh, it's been 4 days since I contacted those people, and they get cold quick. I mean, it's just human nature, I guess, Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Well, thank you everybody for coming on the call.
Hey,
We
great call,
appreciate it.
Dr. Lee, Smiley, California.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys have a fantastic weekend, and let's pump the volume for the week. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, great call, Dr. Lee. Let's get that success formula in the Telegram. I got to copy that.
You betcha.
Yeah, we're all excited about that.
All right.
Hug,
See you guys.
get Canada on fire, Hug.
Yep.
And
Looking at it.
by the way, Dr. Lee, there is a corporate sponsored Canada and Naples meetings. The meetings are, I
October the
mentioned,
1st.
yeah, October 1st is the Super Saturday in Naples with Adam Ringman, who's a founder and a superstar. And also on October 22nd in Edmonton, Canada, which is way out in the boonies. But the young gal who didn't have any network marketing experience, and she owns a florist shop, and she's up there and she's sponsoring a 2 or 3 day event. So everybody's welcome. And if you have anybody up in that area, make sure that you get them to there. I've asked them, perhaps Dr. Lee, you would reaffirm this. I've asked them several times to make sure they send out emails to the events and important information. They're relying on Facebook and Telegram and social media. There's about 45 or 50% of the people that, believe it or not, are not connected to Facebook and Telegram. And so we would like to participate in this stuff and have all of that great information. So perhaps, and you're on the advisory board as well. So perhaps you could bring that to them and stress to them the importance of that type of communication once in a while.
I'm going to ask him to do an email blast somehow and include it in the way of communication for those of us that are a little bit older and they're not in the new voice technology.
Now you're talking. Thank you, Dr. Lee. Thank you, RS. Excellent point.
Thank you.
All this old school.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, God bless everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for coming to our training call.
Thank you. God bless
All
everyone.
right. See you guys.
Thank you.
Keep
See you next
smiling,
week.
Smiley.
All right, guys. Have fun. Have a good weekend.
Have a great weekend. Thank you,
Take
Dr.
care,
Lee.
Steve.
Hey, Denise.
Brazil, I'm gonna give you a call.